Today on NewsWatch, messy politics. We'll break down why this is one of the most unusual and ugly presidential elections in recent years. Plus, Apple wants answers. The tech giant is demanding the FBI explain how it hacked into the San Bernardino terrorist's phone. And then
they realized that if they do their job, that they're going to be vilified in the media, and they're not going to do the job as vigorously as they might have before.
See what's making it tougher than ever for police to do their jobs. Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. One of the most unusual and ugly presidential races in memory is getting even more unusual and uglier. And now the leading GOP candidate is not even planning to support the eventual presidential nominee. Here's Charlene Aaron.
Republican frontrunner Donald Trump is defending his campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, who faces a criminal charge of battery for grabbing a reporter's arm. This video from a Trump rally shows Trump with reporter Michelle Fields by his side. Lewandowski grabs her arm, pulling her back. Trump calls the charges unfair and says Lewandowski will continue as his campaign manager.
Yes, he will. I looked at the tape. It's my tape. It was one of my places. I have great security and great security cameras. I gave the tape. And frankly, if you look at that, people have looked at it. In fact, I just left another area of Wisconsin. We had a whole big meeting with a whole group of people, big audience, tremendous audience. And they're all shaking their heads. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Other candidates, including Trump's rival Ted Cruz, also weighed in on the controversy.
Look, it shouldn't be complicated that members of a campaign staff should not be physically assaulting the press.
Trump is also making waves for backing out on his pledge to support whoever is the Republican nominee for president.
No, I don't anymore. Look,
you don't?
No, we'll see who it is.
Cruz says he will support the Republican presidential nominee, even if it's Donald Trump. But he said he doesn't expect that to be an issue.
Let me tell you my solution to that. Donald is not going to be the GOP nominee. We're going to beat him.
Meanwhile, Democrat frontrunner Hillary Clinton has her own problems. She faces a big challenge from Bernie Sanders in New York. Polls show Clinton leading in the Empire State, where she served as a senator. But Sanders has roots there, too. He was born in New York, and Politico reports his campaign has outlined a new strategy for doing well there by targeting key districts to boost his vote. And another judge has raised questions about her handling of her emails. Judge Royce Lambert called her use of a private email server for government business as extraordinary in an order filed in federal court Tuesday. And he said there was evidence of government wrongdoing and bad faith in the issue. And this wild campaign season may not be over, especially for the Republicans, until the convention, with the potential contested convention for the Republicans still a possibility. Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
A Minnesota man with ties to ISIS is accused of threatening to, quote, shoot up a Walgreens on Sunday. 23-year-old Abdul Rahim Habil Ali Skelton now faces 3 felony counts for making terroristic threats. The FBI also says Abdul lied to authorities about the last time he contacted ISIS jihadists in Syria. The FBI is not sharing its hacking secret with Apple. That is according to the Los Angeles Times. The agency successfully hacked into the iPhone belonging to one of the San Bernardino killers, but they are not telling the tech agency how they got in. The FBI said it used a mysterious method without Apple's help to help hack into the iPhone.
Lots of folks have come to us with potential ideas. It looks like we now have one that may work out.
The LA Times reports the agency used software to run through potential codes until it cracked the correct one. It is not clear what information was gathered after the phone was hacked. Cuba's former dictator Fidel Castro has written a harsh response to President Obama's recent historic visit. Castro openly criticizes the president in a sharp-tongued letter addressed to Brother Obama. He dismisses the president's overtures to leave the past behind, recounting past efforts by the United States to overthrow the communist regime. Castro also criticizes moves by the Obama administration to increase business ties with Cuba, saying, quote, "We don't need the empire to give us anything." Utah now requires doctors to give anesthesia to women having abortions after 20 weeks or later. It is the first state in the country to pass this law. The goal is to protect unborn babies from feeling pain because supporters say evidence shows babies in the womb suffer pain just like the rest of us. The bill includes an exemption in cases where anesthesia could hurt the mother. Other states have tried to enact similar laws, but none have succeeded. The Supreme Court is exploring a compromise ruling in the showdown between the Little Sisters of the Poor and the Obama administration over the birth control mandate. The compromise could allow those seeking contraceptives to bypass the religious organization and receive birth control directly from the insurer. This would keep the nonprofit from having any involvement in providing birth control. Have you ever doubted that Noah could have built an ark so large all the animals could fit? Well, visual proof is here as the Noah's Ark recreation in Kentucky nears completion. And Paul Strand recently got a special preview of the project.
CBN News went behind the scenes to see the giant ark as it comes together. Ken Ham, head of the Creation Museum, gave the long and winding tour up, down, and all around this structure that's almost 2 football fields.
One of the things that people say when they come here, they stand and look at it and say, wow, we never realized this was so big.
The immensity of this structure, over 500 feet long, I would call it a jaw-dropping experience.
They call this the Ark Encounter, and when you're standing here, you realize why. It's so big, you really do encounter it.
People are used to those bathtub arks with giraffes sticking out the chimney about to sink at any moment. And when they see the size of this, then they start saying, well, maybe Noah could fit the land animal kinds on board.
And it only gets better when you go inside this massive structure, the 3 decks and the top floor.
We're going to have working cages. You know, they're not going to have live animals in them. They have sculpted animals that are just exquisite.
Some of the cages are so big they had to move them into the incomplete ark because no entrances will be large enough for them.
The exhibits in the ark itself will be stunning, very similar in professionalism and quality to what's seen at the Creation Museum 40 miles away.
I believe it's going to be one of the greatest Christian outreaches of our era history.
Ark Encounter opens to the public July 7th because, as Ham explains,
in Genesis 7:7, it says that's when Noah and his family entered the ark. So he thought the 7th of the 7th would be a good time to open.
Several dozen Amish carpenters use their traditional techniques and authentic Bible specs to help build this largest timber frame structure in the world.
Just to give you a feeling for the scale inside this place, there are dozens and dozens of these timbers, and look how absolutely massive the things are.
They soar above your head, 5 stories high.
If people just go away saying, maybe I need to look into this, maybe I need to consider what the Bible says, then to me, we've accomplished a lot.
Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from Ark Encounter near Williamstown, Kentucky.
Fighting for wellness. Next, we'll hear from one of America's leading medical experts on what it takes to get your health on the right track. Think you're the only one who puts healthy lifestyle choices low on your list of priorities? Think again. Most Americans struggle to keep afloat, juggling careers, family, and other commitments to the point where they simply don't have time to think about what it takes to get healthy. New numbers show 97% of Americans live an unhealthy lifestyle. Lori Johnson recently spoke with Dr. Elena George, one of America's leading physicians, about what it takes to get on the right track.
Dr. George, is it really that bad?
Unfortunately, it is. I think a lot of us don't even think about what we put into our mouths most of the time. It's just automatic. But I think we're starting to catch up with folks. All the processed foods, all the late nights, not drinking enough water, not handling stress in a very healthy way. These things actually all add up to whether you're healthy or not over time.
Well, this research looked at a very large sampling of about 5,000 people, and it really zeroed in on a handful of key measurements of health. Talk about what those are.
Well, one of the things is how much exercise you get. If you don't exercise and actually, have your heart health optimized, that's a big deal. Eating lots of sugar, and not just putting it in, but the foods you choose to eat. If they have a lot of high fructose corn syrup, they're processed, that puts a lot of stress on the pancreas and blood sugar goes up, and that makes you more likely to move towards diabetes. The amount of salt in the diet, again, from processed foods mostly, can lead to high blood pressure. And the thing that's a little bit not talked about so much is how much sleep we get. The body is extremely sensitive to people who are sleep deprived. So if you don't get enough sleep, if you're not, let's say you snore at night, all those things can also conspire against you. Because if you don't have enough oxygen in your system, your heart, your brain, your cardiovascular system ends up getting stressed. And again, most of the diseases that we're seeing are lifestyle and diet related.
Well, so many people are like, yeah, that sounds great, but I've got this job and it consumes me. And then there are my kids and my ailing parents. And a lot of people just put their health low on the totem pole as far as list of priorities. Is there anything that you can say to these people to help them incorporate some of these healthy lifestyle choices into their very hectic, busy lives?
I think the first thing you have to do is have a mindset change. I'm totally understand where people are coming from. I was there. And I realized quickly that if I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to stay around and live to be a nice, healthy old age, I needed to make some changes. You don't have to do anything really drastic, but how about going to bed an hour or two earlier each night? That would make a difference. Turn off the computer, turn off all the lights so you get a good night's sleep. Drink less soda and processed foods, drinks, I should say, and drink more water, filtered water preferably. Another thing you can do is maybe walk up the steps at work instead of taking the elevator if you can. Park farther from your job so you have to do some exercise. And a little bit works. You don't have to exercise for an hour in the gym lifting weights. But if you get your heart rate up, buy a heart monitor. Just little things like that. Cutting the salt. Maybe not going to a fast food restaurant as often. Those things add up. And then once you start to feel good, it's actually, you just want to continue that mindset, and it gets easier as you go on.
Now, you did mention the high fructose corn syrup, and how do people recognize that? And I think you said that it's not always just in the sweet foods, just the desserts.
It's also in the diet foods because they replace the fat with sugar. So you're better off making it yourself, quite frankly. Make your own lemonade or limeade. Buy stevia as your sugar substitute. You can buy soft drinks now that are made with cane sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. It's a little bit of a challenge for some folks. You have to take your time as you're walking through these aisles and read the labels. You don't want to see sugar, high fructose corn syrup. You won't want to see salt as the first or second or third ingredient on that label. And if you start going organic, if you can, maybe just fruit and vegetables first, and then move on to other things. Cut the carbs in your diet. Too much white products, whether it's white flour, white potatoes, rice, pasta, all those things actually make you gain weight, and they also increase your sugar load, and your pancreas has to work harder. So more greens, lean meats, fish, rest, the same thing that your mom told you to do. It actually works.
Is it true that some fats, the so-called healthy fats, actually can make us feel full and help us lose weight? I'm thinking of things like nuts, avocados, olive oil, eggs even. I mean, where do you come down on the saturated fats like eggs and meat?
Let's be clear. I think this is something that people have not really noticed, but it's coming out in our literature. That if you don't have enough fat in your diet, it affects you. We've gone to very low fat diets, and the brain suffers because of that. So you are absolutely right. You want to have a medium chain fatty acid, coconut oil, avocado, nuts, everything you just said in that list. Those are important to add to your diet because it actually helps your body regenerate. It helps your liver. It actually helps you lose weight as well.
Great information. This is fantastic advice, Dr. George. Every little bit helps. I loved how you said that. And remember, if you blow it, don't give up. Just get back on track. Yeah. Dr. Elena George, this is a sobering message, but your tips are very doable, so there's every reason for hope. Thanks for the motivation and for speaking with us today.
For more tips on getting fit and living a healthy life, simply log on to CBNNews.com. Up next, police say it's getting harder for them to do their jobs. We're going to show you why. They call it the Ferguson effect, a growing animosity against police from communities they serve. As law enforcement officers endure intense scrutiny, they're also facing a spike in violence, and some say the thin blue line is being stretched to the breaking point. Chuck Holton is on the story.
Joe Collins is a husband and father of 2 boys who lives in Blacksburg, Virginia. He's a veteran of both the Marines and the U.S. Army, and he's seen plenty of combat.
Our fire team and our vehicle was hit 11 times by IEDs. Our company was hit approximately 150 times, and we found probably the same amount of that.
When Joe returned from Iraq, he felt like law enforcement was one place where he could continue to serve.
Obviously, you have a lot of veterans coming back. They're getting out of the military, and they're looking for something with that same type brotherhood.
He loved the 14 years he spent as a cop, but he says police work is becoming increasingly dangerous.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. That means it's getting more dangerous for the men in brown and blue and whatever uniform they wear.
Police work has always been a tough job, and no one says cops are perfect. But violence against law enforcement is rising. So far in 2016, officer deaths by shooting are up 300% from the previous year, with a marked increase in ambush-style attacks. In February, policewoman Ashley Gwindon was murdered responding to a domestic disturbance in Virginia. It was her first day on the job. She was the 10th officer to die in the line of duty in February. Police often have to make split-second decisions, and with cell phones and surveillance cameras everywhere, many cops today fear their next call could end up as a viral video, possibly ending their career or even their life. Mike Cowan is a SWAT officer in Mississippi.
I do think that there's certainly some hesitation, and I'm a firm believer hesitation will get you killed. There's certainly a willingness to let things slide maybe a little more because it's not worth the paperwork. It's not worth having to try to explain yourself because people don't feel like they have the administration's backing or they're concerned about what the press is going to do with it.
Michael Wood is an author and contributor to the website Police One.
I think there's a degree of difference in the lack of support that officers are getting today compared to what their grandfathers had several generations before. It has a chilling effect on these officers when they realize that if they do their job, that they're going to be vilified in the media, and they're not going to be supported by their agencies, and they're not going to do the job as vigorously as they might have before.
When you talk about some of these big nationwide events and all the press that they've gotten, one of the things that seems to get lost on the media is that these guys were criminals, and they were resisting law enforcement.
I would venture to say that the large percentage of law enforcement as a whole across the nation has that very feeling. I think they're very frustrated. I think the trust from their government, the trust from their own chain of command, they've got to wonder if it's there.
With violence rising, tactics and equipment which were developed by the military are now being used to make policing safer in the face of rising violence. It's a move many have criticized, including the President of the United States.
You know, we've seen how militarized gear can sometimes give people a feeling like there's an occupying force as opposed to a force that's part of the community that's protecting them and serving them. Can alienate and intimidate local residents and send the wrong message.
Crime has gotten worse. We need the tools, law enforcement needs the tools to be able to handle those situations.
Police deaths in the line of duty have declined since the 1970s when they hit their peak by about a third, but that doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. Battlefield technologies developed in Iraq and Afghanistan have trickled down to police departments across the country, and that means that an officer who's involved in a shooting has a much better chance today of survival and a much lower chance of ending up on a memorial like this one. While cops are being subjected to increasing restrictions, they're also being asked to carry out a wider range of duties than in the past.
We want him to be an enforcer of the law. We want him to be an attorney. We want him to be a marriage counselor. We want him to be a peer counselor. We want him to be a father figure for somebody. We want him to be able to tell directions at the same time that we want him to be able to shoot somebody and keep them from killing your family.
Our job is to enforce the law. If you don't like the way the laws are, vote in somebody different and get the laws changed and do it the legal way.
Let our officers do their job, for crying out loud. Start respecting the people that provide you the safety and security in your home at night.
Chuck Holton, CBN News.
A tough job that continues to get tougher. Stay with us. We're coming right back. Jurassic World star Chris Pratt is making headlines for the nod he gave to Jesus Christ on Easter Sunday. Take a look. The actor erected a massive cross and documented the process on his Instagram feed. The final shot shows Pratt and his two helpers standing in front of the more than 20-foot tall cross with the message, "Happy Easter." You may not remember, but back in 2014, Pratt told Esquire magazine, "I gave my soul to Jesus as a teenager after an encounter with a man in Hawaii. That man told Pratt, 'I stopped because Jesus told me to stop and talk to you. He said to tell you you're destined for great things.'" And that brings us to your Wednesday word, which is greatness. God has destined great things for each of us, but sometimes that requires us to let go of what we think is good for us. Remember, don't stop and settle for good when you're still on the path to great. With that word, make this a great day and walk knowing that God has great things in store for you. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about, and you can always find it at cbnnews.com. We'd love to hear what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that on Facebook, or you can also reach out and touch us at CBN News on Twitter. Certainly hope you'll join us again right here next time. It is Wednesday. I hope that you make this a wonderful one. We'll see you right back here come tomorrow.